Hey there, Stampers. My name is Sherry Roth, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Alberta, Canada, and today I'm going to share with you how to create this card. So this features a little bit of new product and then some annual catalog product. So we're going to be using the Artfully Layered Bundle from the January to June 2022 mini catalog, as well as the layering diorama dies from the annual catalog. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I'm going to do is pull in my card base, which is a piece of basic white, thick basic white cardstock. And I'm going to take the third smallest layering diorama shape, and we're going to cut this out. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss here. All right, so I'm going to put my card base in here, and the card is landscape, so I'm going to put it in the kind of the lower right corner of the card front. All right, and then we can move this out of the way. Okay. All right, so I've got the hole in the front of my card. So now we're going to set that aside, and we're going to do a little bit of actually, no, I'm going to show you what else I've cut. So I've taken a scrap piece of pear pizzazz and a piece of this fabulous DSP, which is called the Artfully Composed DSP. So this is all the bundle. The DSP, as well as some of the embellishments that I'm using, are all from the Artfully Composed suite of products. Okay, so then I'm going to take the second smallest layering diorama die, and then that third smallest, the same one that I used to cut the hole from my card front, and I'm going to die cut these pieces. So I've actually gone ahead and done that. So I've got those two pieces here. So I'll put these back, slide this out of the way. Okay. And then what we're going to do is, I think we've got everything we need for stamping now. Okay. So I've got a scrap piece of white cardstock. I'm just going to kind of position this in the hole here and position this on there. That's going to help me line up my images nicely. I'm going to use some Memento black ink and the greeting that says sending all the hugs. I love the greetings in this stamp set. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp this on the pear pizzazz shape a little bit closer to the right. Okay, and then we're going to take this beautiful leaf image and our evening evergreen, and we're going to stamp this on a scrap piece of white. I just re-inked my ink pad, so it's going to be really juicy. We'll stamp that on there, and then while we've got our stamp out and inked up, we can also stamp our envelope. I'm not going to stamp the inside of this card, and you'll see why in a minute. Wow, that's quite dark. Okay, let's grab a scrap piece, and we'll just stamp the corner. Okay, and we can put this away. All right. So we've got our matching envelope. Now there is a coordinating die in here. Oops. So we're going to take the coordinating die from the Tropical Layers dies, and we're going to take this die and we're going to cut that from some Just Jade cardstock. Okay, but again, I've gone ahead and I've done that. So we'll slide those aside, and we will bring back our card base so that we can finish up here. So I'll just fold my card base in half. I'm going to use my bone folder, make it really nice and crisp. Okay. And then we're going to use some multi-purpose glue, and we're going to stick our layering diorama, a patterned paper one, right through that hole, just like that. And then we're going to take some dimensionals and we're going to pop this piece up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to position this so it's kind of in the center, but really what I'm looking at is I'm trying to make sure that my words are straight. So that's the great thing about these is they don't necessarily have to match the shape that you're matting it with perfectly. Okay. All right. So now we've got these two pieces. I'm going to use my bone folder and kind of give them a little bit of dimension by just kind of curling them up just a little bit. Same with this one. Okay, and then I'm going to use a mini glue dot if I have them handy. I don't appear to have them handy. Okay, so let's see. So this is going to go on here like this. Now there's a few things that we need to kind of think ahead about, right? Because we can't stick it onto this green piece because then you won't be able to open your card. So you need to strategically position the adhesive. The other thing that you need to kind of keep an eye on is you don't want this to extend past the card because you need to be able to fit it into an envelope. Okay, so I think that should be good like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another dimensional and I'm going to put it further up here. Okay, and the reason I'm doing that is, okay, first of all, this is popped up, so we want it to be the same height as that. And the reason I put it further up there is because we want it to adhere to, we want it adhered to this white piece. Okay, and dimensionals stick really well, so you don't have to worry about it not adhering too well. So I'm just going to kind of make sure that that's lined up, make sure it's not covering my words, and there we go. We've got the positioning just right, so that will open and close quite nicely. All right, then we're going to take some linen thread, and I'm going to take quite a bit here, and I'm going to double it up, and I want enough for a bow with some long tails. So it's probably about 24 inches. So I've got my two ends here. I'm just going to tie a bow. And then I'll tweak it to make it the size that I want it. So about like that. Then I'll put all the ends together and trim. And then I'm going to take some multi-purpose glue, or you can use a mini glue dot, and I'm going to stick this right here and pop that on there. Now if you're worried about this sticking, you can add an extra dimensional. Now that you've got this stuck on here, you could slide an extra dimensional under here closer to the edge, and I think I might actually do that. I'm just going to use like a little piece. I'll peel off the backing. Oops, peeled off the whole thing. And then just kind of lift this up and just pop it underneath there, and that will give it a bit more hold. Okay, and then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to add these fabulous Faux Sea Glass Shapes. So these are also part of this collection, and we're going to use these ones here, which these ones are kind of like a pear pizzazz kind of color, and there's a variety of sizes and shapes of them, so they do kind of look like little pieces of sea glass, which is so fun. And there we go. So there's our card here. So we've got a little peekaboo window created using the layering diorama dies. Now I have a tutorial available where it shares 5 other ways to use these layering diorama dies. So I will link that in the description below if that's something that you're interested in. But here's another version of this card. This is a card that I created for a recent swap. And just with swaps, you make multiples, so I needed to simplify it a little bit. So I saved myself die cutting the window on here and just did it as a layer. Just added the 2 shapes as a layer on the front of the card rather than a peekaboo window. And then I stamped my leaf on the inside as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If there is anything that you saw me use today that you would like to order and you live in Canada and don't already have a demonstrator, I'd love for you to shop with me. I've got a link with all of the supplies listed below and a link to my online store. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.